All right, Mikaela Mayer is the former 130-pound champion. On Friday, she will go for the title in a second weight class, which she takes on Sandy Ryan for the 147-pound title, headlining at the theater at Madison Square Garden. So if you can watch live on ESPN. Mikaela, that's got to be bucket list, right? Like, you've headlined before, but headlining at the theater at MSG, I mean, that's something, right?
Honestly, this whole fight is exceeding my expectations because if we go back to, me waiting since January to try and get this rematch against Jonas, thinking that, okay, I got to go back to the UK, where, I haven't been so lucky. And then it's taking forever to get this rematch. The first offer we said to Sandy, she says no. And so I'm sitting here thinking, like, all right, I just need at least a stay busy fight for this year. I want to fight one more time this year. I need to stay active. And then I get the call that it's me versus Sandy Ryan headlining Madison Square Garden, um, in New York on a top ranked card. Literally ticked every single box I could have asked for. So, yeah, I can't let this opportunity slip away. I mean, it's all there for me to take.
So walk me through kind of what's happened the last few months, because you did have that competitive loss to Natasha Jonas in the UK. It was your fourth consecutive fight over in the UK. It seemed like from afar, like that was kind of because that's where the fights are. You were likely to have to continue to fight over in the UK. How did all this kind of come about where you were planning or hoping to fight Jonas in a rematch, and all of a sudden here you are fighting Sandy Ryan?
We just couldn't get the Jonas rematch done. I mean, we both were holding out for it. I especially was holding out for it. I turned down a few offers to fight in the summertime because we were hoping to get this Jonas rematch. Jonas was on board with it too. So she told us, we even spoke on a FaceTime call to try to get on the same page. But the problem really was with Boxer not being able to secure us a date, which was really weird because it's not a hard fight to make. You have both fighters willing to put the fight on. And the fans wanted to see that rematch. So I don't understand what the issue was, but I couldn't wait anymore, and I had to start looking in other directions again to get another fight by 2024. Um, Sent the offer to Sandy. She said no, and then no counter offer, nothing. So I'm thinking, all right, again, I'm just gonna have to take a stay busy fight, and it was kind of upsetting. But that's when I was commentating the Olympics, so I said, okay, let me focus on commentating these Olympic Games. Um, and hopefully when I'm done, my manager will have a fight date for me. But the second I got to Connecticut to work the games, he called with the announcement that Sandy Ryan took the second offer. I didn't even know Top Rank was sending her a second offer, but they were going out doing what they had to do to secure me a big fight.
I look, Top Rank did a good job with this because I remember having a conversation with Eddie Hearn a couple of months ago where he said, he wasn't planning on doing that Sandy Ryan fight. There was going to be something else happen in the UK, but then all of a sudden Top Rank came to the table with a pretty sizable offer for her. So they did make this happen for you, and they do put you back into a big fight. They also put you into a fight which is kind of personal these days. Like, I mean, you've talked about this in some interviews in the past, but explain to people exactly what's going on between you, Sandy Ryan, and your now former coach, Kay Koroma.
Um, so obviously this happened over. I mean, this started way back when I was heading out to the Tasha Jonas fight. It was in January, right? So what's it, 7 months ago? I don't know,
Mm.
8 months ago.
Yeah.
Um, Kay let me know that he was bringing in Sandy Ryan. Obviously, he knew I was going to have a problem with that, so he uh, tried to lie and say that Flick was going to train her. Flick is Kay's assistant coach. Okay,
Mm.
they work together as a team. We're in the gym together all the time. So I didn't really understand how that was going to work, but I had to go focus on the Jonas fight at the time. And when I came back, Sandy was in the gym, and she had her fight against Harper. I wasn't really in camp at that time, so we weren't really crossing paths. This whole time I'm figuring out how is he going to manage this when we're both in camp for the next fight. How is he going to do that? Because he's running her up the mountain, he's holding pads for her. They're all working together as a team in my gym that I'm training at. She's sparring my sparring partners, and I'm getting to the point where like I'm trying to secure this fight date, but also thinking, how the hell is this going to work? Because I'm going to fight Sandy one day. Like everyone knows that. Like I'm a top contender at 147 now. Like why would I be going for anybody but the women with the belts? And Sandy was one of those women. So, um, I did what I had to do. I didn't jump ship right away. I tried to give everyone a chance to try and put me at ease in the situation, tell me a plan of how this was going to play out when we were to match up. Um, Kay fed me some stuff. I got on the phone with Sandy, called her and said, listen, like, what makes you think this is going to be a good idea? Please tell me. She is, oh, we're going to fight this person. We're going to fight that person. Oh, no. And basically, we're getting two different stories. Kay's telling her one thing, Kay's telling me another. Kay's telling me he's not training her. He's not going to be in her corner for the Terry Harper fight. And he's telling her the opposite. Then I turn the TV on and he's in her corner for the fight. So I just sort of felt like there was no transparency. I was being lied to. And at the end of the day, I lost trust for him. And I lost trust in the situation I was in. So I started making moves to look elsewhere. Because I knew I had some big fights coming up, and I needed to have a corner that I trusted in. I
And
couldn't have someone.
just to clarify for people that have followed your career who think that Al Mitchell is your trainer. Al
Yeah.
Mitchell is your head trainer, but the day-to-day in the build-up before a camp, Kay was largely running a lot of that, right?
Yeah, so Coach Al's always been the head coach, but Coach Al's gotten a little older and he needs someone to hold the pads and be a little bit more physical with me in the gym. So that's why I moved to Vegas a little over a year and a half ago to be with Kay more consistently throughout camps. Because now, I'm only fighting 3 times a year now, sometimes two. And so I needed to be staying busy in the gym, and I wanted to be closer to Coach K and get more physical work in between fights. But yeah, Coach Al's always still been my head coach. But again, he's 81 this year, so I need someone in there on a day-to-day basis. Um, so yeah, when I saw that, when I heard that he agreed to train her as long as she never fought Mikaela. That's what was said. I'll train her as long as she never fights Mikaela. That's when I really knew I had to leave, because at this point now I'm being navigated around and my opportunities are being jeopardized. Like I should be having someone helping me get those opportunities and navigate my way back to the world title, not working around me, training my competition, all that. If you saw the episode Top Rank just released, I explained a little bit of that. But so I knew I had to make a move, and that's where I found Kofi Gentua.
So, who are you most upset with in all this? Are you upset with Sandy for kind of poaching your trainer? Are you upset with Kay for taking on a fighter that is fighting in your weight class? Like, who do you have the greatest beef with?
I'm genuinely not upset at any of them. I am actually grateful because it led me to Kofi, and it led me to a situation where I feel 100 times more taken care of. I feel like I'm learning, I'm growing at a faster pace than ever. And they kind of got themselves in I got the fight that I wanted. Okay. I got everything I wanted. I got a better coach, a better situation, and I got the fight that I wanted. If I would have stayed in that situation and trusted what Kay was saying, oh, we're going to train you guys separately, blah, blah, blah. It'll be fine. You guys are never going to fight. It'll be fine. Then I wouldn't be getting this world title shot right now at Madison Square Garden on live on ESPN with my promotion. Everything that I wanted is happening because I had to get up and make a move. So I'm not mad. This is just the facts that I'm telling. This is not like me trying to talk shit. I'm talking facts. This is exactly what happened. They made their decision and I made mine, and now we're here.
Do you think there's an advantage for Sandy having worked with your trainer going into this fight?
No. I think that she's probably feeling a little stupid. The fact that she moved all the way from the UK, left her coach of 10, 12 years, whatever, Cliff, to come train with a guy who's never boxed in his life. Flick literally was a t-shirt boy for Jared Hurd, and now he thinks he can train world champions. Never boxed a day in his life. So she's stuck with him doing fucking drills on a little whatever, little ladder drills, and thinking that she's learning boxing, while meanwhile Kay is pawning her off in the biggest fight of her life, not going to be there in their corner. So I think that she got herself in a worse situation, and so good luck to her.
So what do you have to do to win this fight? Because look, I think Sandy's actually pretty good. Like, and I think you would probably agree that she's a good fighter. I mean, she stopped Terry Harper in that last fight. And look, I thought she was robbed against Jessica McCaskill. I mean, that was as bad a judging as I've seen down in Florida. So she's kind of coming into her own right now. She's a full-fledged welterweight, been fighting at this weight class for some time. What do you have to do to win a fight like this?
Yeah, I've always said that I'm not going to chase down fighters that I don't think somewhat highly of, right? Like I want big fights and I'm going to take on girls that I think are skilled and talented because that's what I want to test myself against. So I have nothing to say about her boxing. Um, I respect her as a fighter. I think she's a good fighter. Um, I think that she obviously has had two really good fights against McCaskill and Terry Harper, but I mean, I don't really rate McCaskill or Terry Harper. I'm not either one of them. I have way more of a pedigree in boxing, my amateur pedigree, more experience as a pro. I've accomplished way more. I'm way more highly skilled than Jessica McCaskill and Terry Harper. So if she's coming in on a high that, oh, I'm the greatest, I stopped Terry Harper, then she has a rude awakening coming because that's not me. I'm levels above them, both of them. And yeah,
Do you have to
she's gonna
change
find
up
that
your
out.
style? I mean, look, you lost two fights by very, very close decision. You could have won both those fights very easily and still be undefeated at this point. Do you look at this fight as you have to make some changes going in? Can you just be the same fighter you think on U.S. soil and get a decision? How do you kind of approach it?
No, I never want to be the same fighter as I was the fight before, and I think that it was again a blessing in disguise me having to kind of look for another trainer and finding Kofi because he's brought in my skill set and we worked on a lot of new things, and I'm feeling very confident. And I don't think that they can really train or, and I think anyway, my style has always been kind of hard to train for. Like, you know that you're going to be in a fight. I can box, I can go forward, I can do fight in all areas of the ring, and I have an engine. Like I don't gas out at any moment. So I'm always a difficult fight, but I'm always still learning and growing. And I don't think there's anything that they can do to really prepare for what I'm going to bring to the table because they just don't know. I'm always getting better.
Have you thought about what that moment is going to be like when you make that ring walk at MSG as the main event, get introduced as the main event at MSG? Kind of a, look, we saw a couple of years ago Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano headlining at the Garden. There's not a lot of women boxers that have done it. It's a very small list. You can count on one hand women that have done
Yeah.
it. Have you thought about what that moment is going to feel like?
Um, the ring walk, not so much. The getting my hand raised and getting that belt back around my waist, yes, I've absolutely thought about that. It's been a rough 2 years. Again, having to go over to the UK and not getting decisions when I thought I should have, and having to redirect my career and take a step back, and then just sort of navigate my way back to this situation has been hard, especially in boxing when they don't they're very unforgiving when it comes to losses. And I've been very lucky that I'm now back in position again. I really can't let that slip away from me. So, um, but getting that belt put back around my waist on Friday will make these last 2 years so worth it. I mean, it'll just feel so much more rewarding.
Well, I think it's going to be a great fight. I think when you have two women that are at the top of their game like you two are, I think it's going to be a great action fight, competitive fight. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch at the Garden on Friday. Catch it on ESPN at the Garden. You can get your tickets, watch it there as well. Mikaela, good luck on Friday. I will be there watching.
Right on.
Watching.
Thanks so much. I'll see you Friday.